Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Timga podcast. Thanks for joining on the first show where we talk everything related to IMGs, and I'm just glad to start this show because I think there's a lot of information out there, especially, and there's a lot of specialists out there. And today we have our first specialist. Everybody's asking me for information. So if you guys want to know where I get my information, it's from this man here, Manu Matthew. Welcome to the show, Dr. Manu Matthew. Welcome to the show. Really excited to have you as the first guest on the Timga podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. It's truly a honor.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, first of all, I want to talk about because I know we connected a couple years ago. During the midst of all the advocacy and everything. But for those who don't know about your story, can you just tell us a little bit about your story? Hey, why are you so passionate about advocacy, and what got you into this work?
So I graduated from medical school in 2012 from American University of Antigua, and couple of years I tried to do volunteering work, some research, and was not able to match. And then during the pandemic is really I was connecting with different IMG groups, medical graduate groups, and they kind of brought this to light that there has to be some other solutions. And mainly everybody was advocating for more residency funding, and we tried that for a couple of months. That had some traction, but it's I didn't really believe in it as much because it takes too long. Maybe one day there will be a surplus of residency slots, but at the moment, I don't see that happening soon. So I took it out of my liberty to reach out to different states to talk about these different pathways. One is provisional pathways like the AP pathway or yours that passed in 2021, the international clinical experience license. And I saw that this experience brought a lot of it helps you increase your chance to match. So that's the positive part of these pathways, which people don't really talk about as much. And yeah, I'm passionate because I see results, and I'm more passionate as I see more results. I'll advocate more as much as I can to talk to different states, to different lawmakers, explain what the match is, explain what the hardships and what the difficulties of stigmas between IMGs and U.S. medical graduates, and I try to speak in one voice rather than four different voices. U.S. grads, DO grads, foreign trained grads, graduates as myself who went to foreign schools, and I try to unify all of them when I speak to the lawmakers rather than divide everybody up into like these classifications, and we're like which that's not my approach. So
Yeah, yeah.
one voice is the way to go.
Yeah, and I agree with you, man. That's the same reason that I got started with Timga, and here in Washington State, and you just see like sometimes because I used to work at a community health center, right? I used to work at Seymour Community Health Centers,
Mhm.
while I was preparing for my steps, and I just used to see a lot of patients just get denied appointments, and the residency spots still stagnant, and it's just so many IMGs, including myself, like everybody who's talented enough to help out, but not able to help out. And if you look at other countries like the UK and different countries, there's always been the GP pathway, right, where somebody who has the ability to practice even under supervision would still work under that pathway. So it's just very frustrating. But I'm just happy to see the evolution of the IMG license, starting from the AP. Just to ask you, Manu, where do you think what do you think about the progress that's been made so far? Because I know in 2014 the AP kind of opened everybody's eyes with Dr. Friedrich over there, and the APs, and now NAP, the association over there. They opened everybody's eyes, and said, "Hey, man, this alternative pathway is possible." I know it's controversial. I know a lot of people who don't like the AP model, especially in medical boards. They say it's it's very it's just a different type of license, and it's a problem. But I think personally, I think they at least opened the door to this progress work because that's where it started. What do you think the progress has been made right now?
It's slowly, state by state, there is a lot of talks. Some states have drafted legislation. It didn't move forward because it will pass one chamber, then it'll stall in the other. So it's a mixed reaction. But whatever the states that have passed, I strongly urge people to do studies, clinical studies, because everybody asks me, okay, give me results. How they improve in the patient's lives, and I have no document, no nothing to show. So that would be a very important thing. I would be happy to help with any state or any clinic to help move some studies to show people that they are making a difference. But it is slow. AP model is very slow. But Texas just recently passed graduate physician and I believe foreign trained physician as well. So it's like a three in one type of bill that just passed just a few weeks ago and signed into law.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I was really impressed with the work that Texas did on that. I know, there's been a lot of conversations in the past in Texas. I've spoken with a lot of people,
Hmm.
in Texas, and a lot of doctors who work on the direct primary care model who always like saw interest in this. So, but just going back to my question earlier, do, the AP model started, right, and then every state kind of like had their own model, right,
Yeah.
and so everybody had their own requirements. Um, and it's like right now it feels like the wild wild west of IMG license, right, in the country, right. So where do you what do you think the best model is right now?
The best model, I believe, is just a basic limited permit. Don't label it too much with AP, bridge physician, and all this. Just make it a neutral name where all the states call it one name, either a permit or either a graduate physician permit, whatever it is, just one name for all of it. Rather than all these different names, it makes it very confusing. But I
Yeah.
believe AMA has to take for and be leading this because they keep on putting things in the resolution and then it goes to House of Delegates or whatever and it just dies out. So someone has to lead it where AMA has to be stated to everyone call it one name. And I
Mhm.
think the leadership has to start, not us. That's why it's all different names.
Mhm.
Someone has to, such as AMA.
Yeah. And when you say a limited permit, like, do you mean that the best pathway? That's the best pathway, meaning like, hey, you have maybe a limited, like you're under supervision, you're practicing for a
Yeah.
couple years, maybe, and then there's a pathway after that, to full licensure. Like, do you like what's your core and belief on that? Do you think there should be like a alternative pathway to residency, or do you think this just should be clinically
Yeah,
cleared?
well, after yes, so after you work a certain number of years in this pathway, the doctor who signs off should be able to write statements and checklists, certifying this individual is ready to go into residency. Yes, there has to be that part because if someone's with you for 2 years or 3 years, they know you. That mentor or that physician who's supervising knows your strengths and weaknesses. So but there's a disconnect between the residency and this now. So there has to be a communication between them two, saying, "Okay, we value the work they did. Here, fill this paper out, and then we can add it to the ERAS or whatever application services during the residency time." But I don't say it should be a bypass where they just get an unrestricted license. No, I do not agree with that.
Okay, so you don't agree with having like somebody work under, because I know there's a lot of proposals out there,
Yeah.
and a lot of a huge movement out there, even for some physicians that say, hey,
Yes.
the residency spots are never gonna get better, especially right now with Medicaid cuts, and a
Cuts.
lot of a lot
Right.
of a lot of patients are gonna never gonna have physicians out there. So the only alternative is gonna be maybe like more nurse practitioners or more physician assistants. So Do you personally believe that there should be no alternative route? Like, like if somebody
Okay.
finishes 4 years, then should they get like an independent license to work on their own?
Only if there's more accreditors. So right now it's everything is run through ACGME, and that's the only way to go, right? So
Mm,
if there is other accreditor, then the answer is yes. Then there's monitoring and someone's overseeing everything. But without that, no, I don't
mm,
agree. But if there will be a different accreditor that comes out and improves the system, then I'm all for that. Then yes, to your
mm.
answer, yes. Then they should go into the alternate pathway like a different accreditor, similar to the boards, medical boards. There's all these different boards for them: family medicine, AAFP. Then there's American, the one you were just mentioning to me about. So there should be more accreditors.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you, and that's why here in Washington State, I love our model here. A lot of people, there's a lot of models out there. I'm biased,
Yeah.
but I think this model is the best model in the country because it actually has. It's the only state that actually has people working in a large level. Like we have right now almost 50 people working, right, in clinics full time, making big salaries. So I think it's the only proven model to kind of to to help patients and help communities. But I do at the same time believe, it's a 4 year license. Right now we changed it to 8 years. Before it was restricted to only residents in Washington State, but right now everybody can come to Washington State and work here since we changed the bill in 5118, Senate Bill 5118 last year,
Mm.
this year actually. But at the same time, I do believe like after physicians complete a couple of years, there should be a like a pathway to accreditation, and independent license. And I agree with you for the accreditation. That's why I think I was really happy to see an ABMS's announcement that they're willing to support this type of alternative pathway. I know maybe I don't agree with all their recommendations, but I'm at least it's a conversation. I'm happy that they're on board. I know the American Board of General Practice is fully on board to provide board certification on this. But just to talk about that ABMS announcement, and I know you've posted that on LinkedIn, and we'll post a link right here on the show as well, on the show notes. Talk about those that press release from ABMS. What are they looking for, and do you think that they're set in stone with these recommendations, or are they open to conversations?
I have not directly spoken to ABMS directly, so I can't. I don't know if they're going to be willing to, amend it and add more on. But I know the commission is involved. The FSMB, the Intel, and ECGME, the commission. So they're about to finish. I believe it's due on July 22, if I'm correct, and they can make recommendation. I believe ABMS is involved with them too. Has people who comment. So yes, they can add on to it once they get the commission's recommendation. They can add on to this.
Yeah. So let's talk about those recommendations first. So the
Okay,
first,
let's read it. Number one, right? Initial assessment.
yeah. So the initial assessment, um, from your understanding, for me, this sounds like it's something that states can create on their own, and they're not going to have
Mm.
like a template for everybody. Is that safe to say?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and also medical licensure requirements. So the one thing that they say right here is a legal requirement to practice and is reflecting that a physician has met minimum standards to diagnose patients. Licensure requirements vary by state and generally. So this is a pretty straightforward. Requirements for a new licensure pathway. So an employment offer prior to an application by institution experience. This is the same thing that we have in Washington. ECFMG, evidence of substantially similar graduate training based on national standards for US and GME. So unrestricted medical license in another country. This like I don't agree with. Um, where they say, hey, you have to have like another license in another country because most IMGs probably been studying for the board for a couple of years, right? Maybe they've been studying for G and USMLE for a couple of years. Maybe something has happened. Average time that people apply to residency is usually 5 years, right? Because life, because as you know, like once you graduated or any IMG comes to the country, you probably got to work full time, right? And you got to study at the same time. So what do you think about that requirement, Manu, that they say, hey, for everybody to qualify for this for board certification under ABMS, that you had to have a previous licensure in another country?
Previous, you're asking if I agree with it or
Yeah,
not.
your opinion, basically.
My opinion about that. They have to prove that they worked. I do agree with it. Yes, they have to prove they were working because then you can get information on their track record on how good of a physician they were. Now, if they didn't work and they come here, I get what you're saying because if they come here and they're studying and they're not able to apply it, you can't prove they worked, right? Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah, I mean, let's say for example, let's say there's been um, like a huge cardiologist from, let's say, Afghanistan, right? Like this
yeah?
huge cardiologist, somebody who's like very talented. He's he or she has been working like 10, 20 years. They come to the U.S. They prepare for the steps, but let's say their license expired or they don't have the documentation anymore because of the
Oh,
war. The war. I mean that, or even
oh,
the medical boards themselves cannot speak with the medical board in Afghanistan because maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it's like that place is
oh.
and I'm just giving Afghanistan as an example, but like this can happen in any country, like Ukraine, doesn't matter. Uh, so like just to like put these requirements out and
Oh,
just say like, hey, and this is what you have to do. And I think it's just like, and without input from stakeholders, I think it excludes a lot of people, in my opinion. And that's why I've seen a lot of bills out there that just require a lot of stuff from IMGs and that are not working because nobody's there. I've seen, like, for example, what happened to Tennessee.
oh,
Like
I
nobody's
see.
working there, right?
Yeah.
So I think ultimately policy doesn't work if there's no input from all sides, including IMGs. So that's what I feel, and I
So
think,
what?
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. How did they come up with 3 years? I don't even. Well, why three, not five? Some of them I'm seeing more, some of them a little
Yeah.
less. How are they coming up with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think what they're saying is like, I don't know, because I think they're taking the template from certain states. Like I know Tennessee
Mm,
has that. Tennessee and certain other states in the South, they have that
yeah,
requirement, right? That
correct, correct.
IMGs have to be within, officially licensed within 3 years. And I
Yes,
think I think that's most of the
most of
bills.
the
That's
states.
yeah, a lot of states that pass similar bills. And I know Cicero Institute is a huge
Yes.
fan of that requirement, which I'm not a fan of that requirement, but hopefully I can get them on the show one day to ask them why they're a fan of that, because I honestly feel that it prevents people from getting in because you know there's a lot of barriers in other countries that we don't know about.
So once it gets enacted and they see there's no results, they're gonna come back and change it, or are gonna say this law is not effective and it's not making any sense. So something is at least passed, and then later change it in the future.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, and that's why I love the assessment model. And have you? I know you followed the Nova Scotia, Canada, the work that they're doing
yes, 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 yes,
in
correct.
yeah, in Canada.
Yes,
So,
yeah,
I'm a huge fan of that model and Manu because, it kind of gets out all the administrative burden out there. You get the basic information, like that cardiologist. You get that basic information. You get some content information. You get some USMLE results. You know that person is a very qualified, skilled doctor. And then they go through this assessment model, right?
yeah.
And the assessment model is rigorous enough that that can lead to some assurance that patient safety is not harmed. But if we put these like like these requirements out there that are based not based on basically actual research on what works, I think that hurts patients in a long time. And as you said, you'll have only two different type of states, like either states who say, "Oh, let's this is working, and let's build on this," or you have states that say, maybe, "Hey, let's try something else."
Yeah, so if it's not working, they'll change it. I'm confident of that. So they're not gonna pass all this and then nothing happens. Then they'll come to their senses and change it. And people like us will make sure they understand. But it has to go through the cycle of proving that it's not working. That I don't know yet. So a lot of it just passed and has to get implemented. Rules has to be placed. So it takes a little bit time to go through the process. But once it's fully implemented, we'll see what happens. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if whatever works, I'm all for it. So what my personal opinion is, whatever the stakeholder overall agrees to, I just want new pathways. I don't know exactly which is gonna be the most effective one, but you have more. In my state, nothing has right now passed. I'm from Jersey, so once I things start passing here, then I get to go through the experience as you are in Washington. So um, then I'll have more input.
Yeah, talk about your work in Jersey, man. I know you released, some documents out there. There's been a huge contention there. Can you talk about that story? What happened in Jersey? What was all the pushback about? And can you talk about your experiences?
For what about Jersey? What pushback?
So you said you were working on a legislation there,
Oh
right?
yes,
And
yes, yes, yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. So it's still in House Assembly side. It's similar to the AP model, and all the stakeholders opposed it. Even the physician assistant groups opposed it, and I was very surprised how the hearing was even came to be there. So, but it passed the House, and then they made an amendment. So the amendment is, I'll tell you right now because I rather read it exactly.
yeah, yeah. I know, and I know, like Wes and World Education Services have been, trying to. I've been speaking with Mike Zimmer on it, and he's been trying to talk to New Jersey as well. But I think New Jersey has a huge opportunity because there's a lot of IMGs in Jersey and New York. I think one of the largest IMG hubs there. So I think those states have a huge opportunity to take advantage of that, very talented workforce. Um,
Okay, so the amendment is the committee amendments add a requirement that graduate physician applicant have completed 1 year of clinical practice hours. I don't know exactly what that means yet, so we'll
yeah,
find out. They're in recess, so they'll come back sometime in September or October. And
yeah,
if it goes for a vote and if it passes, great, and then moves to Senate. So I'll
yeah,
probably be asking you for advice.
yeah, man. And I'll get updates from you as well. But talk about Manu. Talk about like why did you guys choose the AP model and not the other models?
Well, that's because it's been there for since 2017. I believe
Mm,
they started to enforce it. And so there's information that there's been what 700-800 licenses issued. So at least
yeah,
we have some data that it is there. It's been being utilized by so many people without
yeah,
not so much complaint. That's the reason why, and obviously it's the most. Well, what was the second one you said
yeah.
versus
And
this one?
why not? Why not other models like the models that we have here in Washington State and different
Maybe
models in other
I've
countries?
showed it all of them, so they have all of it. So it's up to the stakeholders, whatever they want to do. I'm just advocate, and they feel Washington is the way to go, and they're very well aware of it, then let's
Mm.
go with that. I just give it as yours past 21, right?
Yep.
This was 17, so I just used the oldest one. And
Yeah.
with the most data, when they look it up, they say, okay, a lot of people are using it. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why specifically. But if it turns out to become Washington's, then I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. That's great, man. So, talk about your work with Project IMG. Congratulations on the new role, by the way. But talk about your work with Project IMG and some of the work
Yeah.
that you're doing.
We just started, so the state to state advocacy is what I mainly do with them. They do more. They're doing also federal issues as well, like the one with the J1 visa ban. There's another set of people who's doing that, which they've really helped a lot. Project IMG helped a lot with that to bring awareness, and you saw a lot of media on it from Project IMG. So yes, I'm working state to state legislation. Either it's foreign trained pathways or the provisional pathways like AP. That's
Yeah.
with Project IMG.
Yeah, yeah. I was at their IMG event last year. So yeah, we were one of the booths. Really amazing. I think they've been doing a lot of work, a lot of great work, and I'm just excited that they're in policy advocacy. And it's a lot of space that's open here. So
Yeah.
Manu, you're leading the charge, man. Excited
Yes,
to have
yes.
you.
I was able to convince them. I was like, hey, you guys got to do this. And then we joined together as a team, and hopefully we can make some good stuff pass with their help.
Okay. Also, the FSMB guidelines, the feedback is due on July 22nd, right, Manu? Is it July
Yeah,
22nd?
let me look that up again.
Yeah, I
FSME.
think I think it was July 22nd, and
Okay.
I know basically there's, and I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, um but yeah, talk about like what are you hearing other advocates or stakeholders, how do people feel about the recommendations in general?
Overall, they're not opposed to it. They love the fact that more people are involved. There's obviously there's going to be more improvement even with the recommendations. People will not agree to all of it, but in general, everybody's happy that FSMB, Intel, and ECGME is involved, and there's no opposition or anything. Nobody's saying anything against it, except like some people don't agree with like which trainings different countries. They don't accept this country or that country. It becomes a whole different topic,
Yeah,
which I don't want. I don't like going into too much.
yeah, yeah.
Like the Texas one that passed, they single out like 10 or 11 countries. I don't know why, but they said national security issues. So
Yeah,
they won't
yeah,
accept trained physicians from these specific countries. So
yeah,
besides that, yeah, everybody is happy that they're involved.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think the recommendations are some, most of them I like. There's some things that could have been tweaked, and I'll be giving out my recommendations on that as well. But overall, I think they're doing a good job. Most people that are on board and just talking about this, and I think it's not an accident that a lot of people are talking about this, right? It's because of the huge movement that's going
Of
on
course, of course.
in this pathway as well. So, thanks again, Manu. I know we're short of time, but thanks again for coming on the show. We will. You're always welcome back here, and thanks again, man. And I hope you can come back again on the show.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge the incredible work you have done, Mohammed. Your dedication to advocating for common sense reform for international medical graduates in Washington is deeply inspiring. You've shown commitment, continued pushing forward despite the challenges, and remain focused on what truly matters. Your belief in this cause has made a real impact, and it's a privilege to be part of this important conversation. I work to amplify your advocacy really across the country, sharing the opportunities and legislative wins happening in numerous states, breaking them down clearly and encouraging open and informed debate at a state level. So we're together making this big movement, and I'm happy to, you know, to support you as we move forward.
Thank you, man. Hey, that means a lot, man. And hey, I just tell everybody again, and where I get most of my information, it's from Manu Matthew. So follow him on Twitter, follow him on
No, no,
LinkedIn.
only LinkedIn. I don't have Twitter
No, Twitter
or
X.
Facebook. That's
Okay.
LinkedIn. That's it. You're
Li-
on Twitter?
no, I was, but now I'm not anymore.
No, no,
Twitter is the
only
Wild Wild
LinkedIn.
West. Yeah, but LinkedIn, everybody, follow Manu on LinkedIn, and hey, we will stay in touch, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care.